Hello, Anidorks. A quick technical note. We lost some audio from this episode, so we had to fall back to using the Zoom audio for this one. I think it sounds passable, but I just wanted to give you a heads up. Another thing, we are slowing down for the end of the year and may do something like taking Christmas week off in terms of releases. We haven't quite decided yet, so keep an ear out for the details on that moving forward. Also, we know that Andalite Chronicles has been running a bit long, but it won't be forever, and we'll be back with our Fab 5 plus Burb Fab Burb 5 in no time. Wow, I wrote this out. I could have practiced that off air. And with that, let's get to the episode.
These may be kids' books, but we discuss dark themes and mature content. There may also be some explicit language. Listener discretion is advised.
Okay,
Chris is sending pictures. They all just say, "Do time.is, you fucking cowards."
7:21
to know what time
45.
it actually is, aren't you?
45?
Sure.
We did it.
Sick. We did it. Okay.
How do you learn piano on a computer?
Very carefully.
Should we do a review first, or
let's do a review first. So,
okay,
let's do it. I don't have it up. Is it on Apple Podcasts?
Yeah.
All right, Eddie's got this one. We're gonna have to trust.
Okay.
What if Eddie makes it up though? We're a peer-reviewed podcast.
Mysterious reviews.
Like what if Eddie says they're both from Bigfoot?
This one's from Pagerda, Pagerda. Pagerda.
No.
What do we think?
Pagerda.
It's a 5-star review.
Oh, thank God.
Not first.
I was so worried.
A pleasure to the ear holes.
Oh, good.
Love the group dynamic.
Yeah.
That's how the Yerks get in.
That's how the Yerks get. You got to have those lubed up and ready to go. Our podcast is the best way to lube your ear holes before getting hurt.
Someone who really they haven't been invited to the sharing yet, but they really want to get yerked. They're just constantly lubing up their ear holes.
Oh, man.
The soft soap. Just rubbing it in there.
Right,
I'm ready.
Yeah, just a happy trail of soft soap up the neck.
The ear equivalent to leg spread. Just come on.
All right, we got that out of our system. This isn't going to be a horny episode or nothing.
Okay, to recap, 5-star review, pleasure to the ear holes. Love the group dynamic with these three. I'm constantly having to stifle laughter in public while listening to this podcast.
Yay!
I enjoy reliving the joys and pains of this series through the eyes/minds of people who are new to it. Great listen, highly recommend.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, that feels
Pagerda.
Can we read that again? Yeah.
You want to read it? We don't. That's our only new review. That was September 12th, so we could just go through it again.
Keep reading that one.
It feels good.
It does
matter
feel
how
good.
many times you read it.
Thank you for the lovely review. And like Pagerda, I'm sure, is well aware, it really helps us out. And you can make us say all sorts of weird, wacky stuff.
That's true.
So
like lubing up your ear holes.
Lubing
up your ear holes. Yeah, you got that one for free. Well, I'm not sure how that one got started, to be quite honest. All right. So there's no others?
No. We can read some old ones.
I do like some of the old ones. Let's do this new CJ email. I'm excited to see. All right. It's new to me.
If I haven't seen it, it's new to me.
Wild reference.
I haven't even read this one yet, so.
Yeah, CJ, thank you for the email. I'm sorry that we're 2 months behind, but
September 15th.
Yes.
I was about to say that's only 1 month ago, and then I was like, oh no.
No, it's 2. It's like I almost said the same thing. I know. I voted today, you guys. All right, I'll start this one off. Nice. I went to the wrong polling place because check this out. I looked up where I was supposed to go. I mixed 2 numbers in my address, went to the polling place, said my address wrong 3 times.
And they were like,
and then they reverse looked it up with first name, last name, date of birth. And then they were like, wow, your address is in wrong, I guess. You have to go to Garden Court. And I was like, bleep Garden Court. But anyway, and then I called Dad and was like, Dad, it's 9:00 and I've said my full adult address wrong 5 times to strangers. Like, I don't even know who I am anymore.
It's amazing that there are people who are probably saying their voting addresses correctly in this country and aren't allowed to vote. And you were allowed to vote after saying,
I'm sorry.
I'm just saying it's incredible.
It's a travesty.
At my, I had to go to a firehouse just down the street. Actually,
I
where we
also
went to
go
the
to a
carnival.
firehouse.
Oh, really?
Oh,
I didn't know it was
nice.
a common thing. There were people. I was the only person younger than 50, I think, in the firehouse. There were people sitting at folding tables, talking, having their coffee, doing their voting sheets together.
Oh,
and I have
wow.
never seen that. And they were like, "Do you want to take a seat?" And I was like, "I think I should vote at the stand."
Yeah,
privately.
with the little barriers.
Yeah, you can
Everyone
see
else
my-
just, it's a communal experience. So
Yeah, we do paper ballots, so there's like little dividers up, but like you
Yeah.
can see everything.
Oh, we do like paper digital ballots. It's like
Well, you do the paper ballot and then you take it to a machine.
you take your blank to a machine and then you fill it out digitally. It prints it, and then you can verify it.
oh,
Yeah,
That's wild.
it is wild.
Yeah, no, I fill
don't
it
know
out with
why.
pen and then I feed
Yeah.
it into a machine and it says
I think that's
"Good
what I did in
job."
Queens too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yours says good job. Mine doesn't.
Well, it just says
congratulate.
ballot accepted and then it gives
Oh.
like a little green check mark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody was so nice to me this morning. Please go vote. Okay, CJ.
This is going to be a month later, at least. That we
Yeah, but
release it.
it's never too early to start reminding people about the next
It's
time.
never too early to vote.
Remember, vote early, vote often.
Okay.
All right.
You were going to start.
All right, cool. Hey, Anna Cool Kids. Really enjoyed your book 11 discussions, and your book 12 ones have been interesting as well. I would apologize for the long essay of an email I've sent you, but I think by now you've come to expect it. Ha ha. Still, I hope your voices don't hurt too much afterwards. Well, as long as I don't have to do Jake voice the whole time. Popcorn Eddie.
Book 11 doesn't get the attention from the fandom that I think it deserves. That moment with Rachel and the ants has been terrifying me since I was 9 years old. LOL. I know some people are frustrated by its sort of it was all a dream aspect, even if that's not technically true. I can't understand that, but because Jake does remember what happened, I think the effect the whole experience has on him is pretty tangible. Agreed. And is something I can see in a lot of his actions going forward. He has now experienced his worst fears as the leader. He knows how badly he can fail, and perhaps there's some comfort in that. But I think it also brings more terror. After all, he also saw how badly the team can break down when he admits to his own fears, that it makes the rest of them more afraid than they already are. I
Gotta
keep wanting
bottle
to
it up,
comment
Jake.
on it.
Gotta bottle it up.
Well, they got to teach the kids something. On some level, all the kids know that Jake isn't a fearless leader, but thinking that he is helps them. If Jake isn't afraid and keeps telling them what to do, then they can keep moving forward, even if it's a Popcorn Miranda.
Lie. It's a comforting one. Yeah, you caught me. I was reading ahead. Now more than ever, Jake knows this, and he can't forget it. This isn't a detail in book 11, but something I think about more and more with each reread, and it makes me so sad for who he was in book 1. I know that book has its problems and doesn't characterize him as well as later books do, but thinking of him then to now, I just feel so bad for that ordinary kid. The first graphic novel captures it really well, I think. There's a moment where Jake looks up and sees Elfangor's ship. In one panel, he is a laughing and carefree kid. In the next, his face drops, and that's it. From then on, he isn't an ordinary kid anymore, and he never will be again. Just gives me a lot of Jake feelings. Frowny face. Yeah, same.
Powerful frowny face. I feel it.
Yeah.
Anyway, on to Popcorn Chris.
Anyway, oh shit. Man, I am the worst student. On to book 12. The fan base tends to be divided on it like you guys are. I'm in the category of liking it for a lot of reasons. For one, I think the Cassie and Rachel friendship moments are really sweet. For another, a lot of jokes have stuck with me. A light would be great. Makes me laugh every time.
It's really solid.
That was really good. Oh, and a light would be great. That was so cute. Oh, and it's been accepted by the fandom at large that Cassie is in fact a fan of Nine Inch Nails, despite stating otherwise. in this book.
She's just hiding it, man.
To the point that Chris Grine, the artist for the graphic novel, drew a very cute picture of all the kids that had Cassie wearing a Nine Inch Nails shirt. So for all intents and purposes, it's been accepted as canon. That kicks ass. I didn't realize.
That's so awesome.
I was assuming that there would be more to it, but I love that it's just like, we all agree she was hiding how much she liked it.
Or that she got into it after that. Like, it's like, she's like, well, I wasn't really into it, but then I listened to it. And like,
That's how taste starts sometimes.
That's true, yeah. I also like how Popcorn Eddie.
How this book deals a lot with Rachel having more stereotypical girly feelings. Rachel is the tough one, and the grizzly bear morph represents her well, but she's still someone who likes clothes shopping and gets all flustered because of a cute boy. She has multitudes, and that's part of what makes her great. And as Miranda pointed out, it's also refreshing to see the girls expressing attraction in more physical terms, which isn't as common in media. 13-year-old girls can have sexual feelings just as much as the boys their age, and that's not typically made clear. On top of that, Popcorn Chris,
media culture at large tends to dismiss the things teenage girls love and the power of that love, which is why I like Cassie and Rachel making it clear how much the whole Jeremy Jason McCole thing would be. Popcorn Miranda.
On another subject, it's interesting to hear you guys talk about Rachel and Tobias because I actually really like what we have seen with them trying/failing to communicate properly with each other. To begin with, 13-year-olds in general aren't exactly known for their communication skills, but it's also something that makes a lot of sense for both characters. I do totally agree with this. It is still frustrating as as a reader who's rooting for them.
Yeah.
Considering Tobias's home life, it's no surprise that he never learned how to communicate. From the sound of it, he's never really experienced any kind of proper caring relationship until the Animorphs. God, yeah. I think the fact that he tries to talk to anyone about more personal stuff at all is really kind of a testament to how caring he is. He doesn't know how to have personal relationships, but he keeps trying anyway, and that's very endearing to me. God, sounds like me. It's also sad to see him feel this need to continually earn his place with the group. Now that he has people who care about him, the thought of losing that is terrifying, so he has to prove his usefulness. It's why he's constantly scouting out Yerk stuff and throwing himself into reckless battles despite the limitations of his Popcorn Eddie.
A hawk body. The Animorphs are all he has.
I just wanted to hear you say hawk body.
Hawk body. The Animorphs are all he has, so from his perspective, he can't be weak. Can't complain about his problems, can't be seen as a burden, because then he runs the risk of being as unwanted with them as he was with his family. Frowny face. On Rachel's side of things, I think it's clear that even before being in the Animorphs, that she doesn't have a lot of experience seeing good communication in relationships either. Her parents obviously didn't do that with each other very well. And while it's clear she loves her family very much and her mom tries to do her best for them, she also works a lot. So it's often left to Rachel to take care of her sisters at home, which would teach her to prioritize the well-being of those she loves over herself. That's something we've seen clearly. She will hug and comfort Cassie despite being unable to handle getting that same kind of physical or emotional attention. She will be concerned for Popcorn Chris.
Tobias, and try to talk to him about his situation and assure him that all he does for the group is appreciated, but can't bear, lol, to talk about any of her own issues. That was cute. That was good. All of which is to say that Tobias and
There's
Rachel...
a finger with that one, I think.
All of this is to say, I'm wagging my finger. You can hear it. All of which is to say that Tobias and Rachel have a lot of similarities. They both want to protect the people they love to the point of recklessness, but can't talk about their own Popcorn Miranda.
Feelings very well at all. Those similarities are what draw them to each other, but also make properly communicating very difficult. I think it makes for a very interesting dynamic that contrasts a lot with how Cassie and Jake communicate with each other. And of course, we are still very early into the series, so who knows how they will grow and change as it goes on. I do. I know.
I don't.
All of that said, time for some small questions.
Firstly, you talked a little bit about celebrity crushes, but did you ever have an experience kind of like Rachel's where the crush went away after realizing they were a jerk? Popcorn Eddie.
I think it's kind of interesting that the books show how oddly painful that feeling can be, even or especially from someone you don't actually know. It's pretty ahead of its time as far as parasocial relationships go.
I thought that too, yeah.
So,
should we answer as we go?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's answer
kind
as
of
we
all
go.
here at the end.
Yeah.
I gotta say, as a teenager, I think finding out someone is a jerk, unfortunately, did not affect the crush much. As an adult, absolutely.
Do you have an example?
But
Can you
as a
cite an example? I'm trying to think of
I'll say a name, but we just bleep it then. Because no, I guess we don't need to say a name.
It's a celebrity crush, right?
Oh, it's celebrity. No. I think it's.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought it was a celebrity crush.
You talked a little about celebrity crushes, but did you ever have an experience kind of like Rachel's where the crush went away after realizing?
Yeah, I was reading that as related to celebrity crushes.
Same.
Oh, still?
Real people.
Yeah. I think it carries through that way. That's sort of like, I don't know. You can read it either way, though. You can go with your real crush, and we can bleep the name. That's fine too. I read it.
Oh, I just misunderstood it. I don't think I have many experiences where I know celebrities turn out to be jerks because I don't think I know that much about.
Yeah,
the other thing is. It's like, I feel like all those celebrities that I had a crush on as a teenager, I didn't find out were jerks until after I'd stopped having a crush on them.
Yeah, like years later or something like that. Yeah, like if I remember, like what even is a celebrity crush? Like it would have to, because I've had them. I know I've had them. I just can't it's like
when I was like a preteen, I thought Drake Bell was really cute, and now obviously the stuff's come out that he's like not a cool dude, but like I didn't hear that then. It's not why I stopped having a crush on him. It's just like,
yeah.
And then, I mean, beyond that, there have been not necessarily crushes, but like plenty of celebrities that like I thought were cool and then turned out to be shitty, as everybody knows. But like, there was one in like a niche online community I'm a part of that was like weirdly weird because it was so small. It felt like the parasocial was almost worse. Like it felt a bit more intimate. Like they could have certain contact with fans and stuff. And so like
I always have that
felt weird.
Mm-hmm. I always have that with like if you're on a stream that's too small and you get active in the chat and then they start talking about what you were chatting about and you're like, you are not supposed to do that. You are not supposed to be interacting with me. You are supposed to be doing something else. Like,
and see, I don't mind that depending on the type of stream it is, right?
It like, yeah. But sometimes it's just like the first time that happened, I was like, I guess watching streams isn't for me. Like that was like
you're just a lurker. You're a lurker.
I guess so.
Or you watch events where the chat is interacting with the chat, but the stream is like totally independent. Like they're not observing the chat at all. Like, yeah. And there's some streamers who are like that, who are like, I don't really interact with chat. They just do what they do. But like,
yeah, they're like, That's so.
I actually think it's actually something though where that Rachel's actually pretty well adjusted in this way that when she finds out someone is a jerk, she almost immediately stops having a crush on them. And that was just not how my brain worked. Granted, I was also like, in my case, I was like closeted, which I think also makes it hard to remember celebrity crushes and things like that.
Because you weren't
expressing it socially.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I also
that would be so funny.
I was like, he's a terrible person. And then it would just be like...
It would be so funny if we were having a conversation and like for some reason my memory was so compartmentalized. I'd be like, I had crushes on lots of girls. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Should we go to the next?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Secondly, do any of you have allergies that would prevent a certain morph? Honestly, the kids have been pretty lucky with that. Imagine if any of them were allergic to animal dander.
Yeah.
Rachel with the cats.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I am allergic to cats, so I don't know if I would be able to morph a cat.
Wow, that's funny.
Cat,
I wonder if like taking a huge dose of antihistamine could have helped with the cats would be tough. Like if I acquired a cat morph, I would probably just, my nose would be running, but my nose is always running. Like I don't live with
my
a cat
sinuses
now,
are just sort
and
of worked anyway.
Yeah. When Chris has visited the place where I'm living right now recently, I've actually kept the door shut so Chris can. And you give me a fresh.
All I need is a fresh pillowcase. That's all I need. Like I've lived with cats. I just like. And the way that I did it when I lived with cats is I would put my pillow in a place cats can't go, and then I would pull it out at night.
My cat has actually been weirdly. Our bed's really high up, but not the kind of high up that she likes.
It's like a monolith. It's like a plateau. Yeah,
high up, but like I think because it's high up and out in the open. James says she doesn't know how to jump.
It's hard to remember how to jump.
Not wrong, but But so like she doesn't go on my pillow. But I did have a problem with if I would like leave a bra on the floor at one point, she would like try to sleep in it. And then when I would wear it the next day, I would get hives from it being pressing. Well, I didn't know she was doing it.
This is the thing about cats that always like freaks me out though. Is like they're always one step ahead of you. Like you think, oh, you couldn't possibly do this gross thing. And then they're like, oh, we're unemployed and live at your house. We've done every gross thing imaginable.
I don't think I actually have any, like I used to have allergies in the fall and the spring, but they've kind of gone away in the last few years. I haven't really had
mine have been worse.
Allergic reaction. Really? I don't know what it is.
This year especially was a horrible sinus year for me over the past couple of weeks.
I am lactose. I'm like slightly lactose intolerant. So maybe
you
I
can't
wouldn't
morph a cow.
Yeah, don't morph a cow.
Yeah.
Don't morph a cow, man. That's a reference for people who don't listen to this podcast because they're older than us. Everybody remembers the Sampsons.
Chris, didn't you get mad at me recently for saying I'm not allergic to poison ivy?
I did get very mad at you, but it's also like I got very mad at it.
I hike a lot and I've touched it and I've never had.
At the time, I had OCD'd myself out about whether or not I had just walked through poison ivy. And you were like, oh, that doesn't really bother me. And I'm like, great. Yeah. That's fucking great. I can tell where you stand on the matter.
And you were like, I don't believe you.
Anyway, we don't need to know about how lame Chris is. Anyway, lastly,
yeah,
I am lame, Ed. I know.
No, I was saying someone want to take the last question.
Yeah. Oh. Lastly, Miranda, do you want it? You haven't read one yet.
Okay, sure. Lastly, I don't know if you've read it yet. You may have, but if not, what do you think the Andalite Chronicles will be about? When we got this email, I had not read the Andalite Chronicles.
That's true.
But I have now. Is there anything specific you're hoping to get from it? Or if you have read it, did any of it surprise you in a good way? You don't have to get too specific. It surprised me in good and bad ways. I feel like there were things I was hoping to get out of it that I didn't. In particular, I was hoping to get more depth on non-Elfangor Andalites.
Oh, yeah. I wasn't expecting it to be such a
I was expecting there to be more Andalite culture, I feel like.
Yeah, me too.
We do get more of that in part 3. Yeah, I wanted to spend time on... Oh, I got my answer to this. I wanted to spend more time on the Andalite home planet, and I thought we would. What surprised me was that we got an even better planet. We got the Taxon home planet.
That's true.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, you're right. It's hard to complain when you got more than you ever could have imagined.
Right.
Yeah. I really feel like the third, they've been utterly slow for us to get through because like we've just been talking about them so much, and not too much, but we've been talking about them a lot. And like we've been living in these books now for like a month and a half, maybe. Like 6 weeks.
Meaning we've been living in Andalite Chronicles.
Yeah, in Andalite Chronicles specifically. And like I like was on the phone with you, Eddie, on a walk the other day, and I said something to you that then I was listening to this episode back and I said it in this episode like as well. And I was like, my God. We've just, it's like every thought I've had about these books I've had 4 times, and my favorite part was the third section. I think the third section was by far the coolest. Yeah,
I think
I like section 2 a lot too. Yeah.
Oh, second section was cool. I just the third section was I thought the third surprising.
Section was overall really well paced and didn't have too many lulls.
I did think I can't talk about it. Sorry.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, we can't talk about it.
I think reading Andalite Chronicles has made it more... I don't want to talk about this yet, so I'm not going to say...
I don't want to talk about this.
But I think... And I don't know when we're going to release this either, so maybe this will make no sense. But I think it made it clear to me what I'm really liking about Animorphs overall. And I'm excited to get into that. So, yeah.
I think also, like... it's nice to know how big it is always good. I think like the time scale of when certain aliens are from and stuff like that. Like, I often complain on this podcast. I know you guys are Star Wars fans, but I'm all like, Star Trek's better. And I know that that's annoying, but I think like it feels more like a Star Trek-y sort of thing than a Star Wars-y sort of thing, which I like. Well, very much looking forward to your discussions about the Andalite Chronicles and basically every book going forward. That is unbelievably sweet, CJ. Thank you.
Yeah.
There are some really, really good ones ahead. Really glad to hear hear that because, as I said in an episode prior, we may have hit the peak of the mountain with the Taxon homeworld. Hope you all have as much fun reading it as I do hearing discussions about the series that I love so much. Well, yeah, until next time, CJ. You. Knock it off, you.
Thank you, CJ. We love your emails.
Thank you so much. We love getting them.
Absolutely.
And sorry we took so long to get to this one. Andalite Chronicles took longer than we thought it would.
Oh, yeah.
When we start an Animorphs book, we're typically starting with a lot of things already in place that we know about these characters in the world. And like the first chapter tends to be a review.
a lot of
It's all new in Andalite Chronicles.
Yeah,
and we tend to we dig into the lore and the world building, and it's just all of that. It's all that.
It's all our favorite stuff to talk about. It's really true.
Yeah.
I think
gonna leave you all with my favorite hint to Andalite Chronicles Book 3. Just my favorite hint to an Easter egg. Not Easter egg, but hint to content in it. Just gonna leave you with the flesh wheel.
Oh my God, I forgot about that already.
Yeah.
That is like the most, imagining the friction, the flesh on flesh friction. And we're going to get to talk about that again in a couple weeks.
For a whole episode, probably.
A whole episode. And that episode will be called Flesh on Flesh Friction.
We don't have to, we can cut before this, but...
Thanks for listening to Anidorks. We'll be back soon with lots more to say. Until the Andalites return, or at least until next time. See you soon.